So my Human Torch guide video has received a very positive response, and people seem to like the way I explain some concepts and how I break down information. And I had a friend that basically requested I do the same thing with Groot since he's my main man, and I feel like a lot of players sort of mess him up a bit. So in this video, I'm going to break down some simple mechanics and try to splash a little bit of color on the style that I use to play Groot, and show you some tricks that I use and basically try to help you improve on playing as a tree. Okay, before we move on to all the little details about Groot, I just want to rewind the clip that you saw during the intro and kind of explain some of the things that are going on here. So I'm defending on Groot, obviously. I've put my E-wall here. I am a passive E-wall user for Groot, in most cases anyway. I prefer to get the over health, extra shield, you know. And basically, I'm going to try and explain what happens here in this clip. I get my ult, all right? I turn, twist right here. Grab all three. Okay, I already have a thorn wall down here, which is actually going to swing out once and hit them. I think it hits the Jeff. I'm going to put a second wall here to block the Punisher, just in case he somehow survived that, but he didn't. So we've got a triple kill here. I'm going to hit F and get rid of my wall. Now I can see that there's Iron Fist and Star-Lord. I go for the Star-Lord first, but he flies away. Nice little trick I do here. Let me explain. Okay. What I do when I'm facing melee, not all the time, but some of the time, is I see right here, okay, there's Iron Fist and I see a Black Panther. All right? So I'm going to put a Thorn Wall down and a second one down. And sometimes I make a little nook, sometimes I just put one down, but basically what I'm trying to do is, they're melee, right? If they want to fight me, I'm going to stand by my walls and make them take the bonus damage from this. So you'll see me actually hop over and put my back up against the wall here, right? It also helps if Black Panther is dashing or something like that. Sometimes he'll dash like straight into the wall because he's trying to dash through you, and now you're standing beside them. And if you just like even just hit the melee button and smack him, he gets smacked by both the walls or whatever, right? So that's one little trick I did there. That was kill number 4. We'll just rewind it slightly. Iron Fist gets fried here. Okay, he's toast. I look up. I use Groot's hit scan basic attack with a 20-meter range. He's in range, so he gets killed. Okay, it's kill number 5. I see Black Panther coming. I miss him with the right click, but I don't miss him with that one. Let's rewind it really quick. Okay. Dead Star-Lord. And now look at this. Pure beauty. Missed the right click. Left click coming up. Left click number 2. Melee. Just barely hit him as he goes by. Swing at nothing. Left click number 3. Number 4. And... oh, it's a thing of beauty. It really is a thing of beauty. Just... look at this guy. Oh, you're safe. You're gonna heal. Oh, you made it out. Dead. Easy. So, we're gonna go into details now. That is a Groot clip. I do that every single game, no problem. Easy. Sarcasm. But we're gonna explain a little bit more in detail what's going on, and yeah, you're gonna learn some good Groot tricks today. Okay, so I want to start by talking about Groot's walls. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's like the most unique thing about the character, and he, you know, uses walls all the time. And he has his shift wall, and he has his E wall, right? And you can shift between the two of them and use them when you need to. But I think what a lot of people don't get is that there's kind of two different play styles for Groot involving his E wall specifically, okay? So first, before we get into that, I just want to show you that the E-wall, it has about a 20-meter range, okay? So that's at the 10-meter mark. If I stand back here on the 30-meter mark, you'll see on the left-hand side of my screen where it shows the wall's health, the 700 health, it's lit up yellow, right? If I step back a little bit more, it goes away, which means I'm out of range. I'm more than 20 meters away. So you want to stay within 20 meters in order to get the effect of the wall. Now, what is the effect of the wall? So... essentially, if you activate the wall by hitting somebody like this, you notice the wall lights up and actually got 40 bonus health shields. Okay? So every time you hit somebody, it'll trigger the wall and it'll give you shields. Okay, and basically anytime the wall's triggered, it doesn't have to be you necessarily hitting them with a basic attack. It can be a multitude of things like that. It'll trigger once per second, 40 health. Okay, and it starts to stack. And this actually works from like really far away. So if I have my wall here and there was enemies way over there, right? You'll see here, I'll just throw something at this guy and hit him and it'll trigger my wall, right? So it doesn't, it's not like you have to be in range. The enemy doesn't have to be in range of the wall. As long as you are close to the wall and within that 20 meters and you hit anything, you'll get a trigger, you'll get the bonus health. So you can use this to start stacking up bonus health from enemies that are far away before they even get up close to you. Okay, so we've established what the wall does, but there's multiple ways on how you can actually use it. What you'll see some people do is, let's say that this is the middle of the fight here, right? This is where all the team fight's going to happen. They'll put the wall off to the side. Now, I am a Groot that does this a lot, especially when I'm on defense. I put the wall off to the side. I do not want this wall to be a focal point. I do not want them to kill it. I want it to just sit here right in the middle of the whole area that we're going to fight. And I want it to just keep giving me that 40 bonus health per second. Okay? So I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm just going to keep getting this bonus health. All right? So it's basically this constant heal, and it's how on defense especially, I am surviving so long. I'm going to be using my shift walls to protect myself and to be aggressive and do all that stuff. But this wall, I want it to stay out of trouble and just sit there. I want people to know as well, when you have this bonus health, I have 990 health. If they hit me right now, they do not gain any ultimate charge. As long as I have any kind of bonus health like that, if they hit me, they do not gain any ultimate charge whatsoever. So it's a way to slowly kind of limit the amount of ults that they get as well. Okay, so that's one way that you can use this wall. Now, you can also, just so everyone knows, you can hide it. It doesn't have to be in view of you or anything like that. So you can put the wall here. Can't see it. Start hitting things, still get the effect. Okay. So you can just, as long as it's within 20 meters anywhere, you're good. So that's one way to use it. Now, the other way to use the E-wall is offensively. So if, let's say you're attacking most of the time, and you know they're all defending over there on their base, and you're trying to close the gap, these only have 250 health, whereas the big E-wall has 700 health, right? So sometimes you can, like, you know, you jump forward, you put the E-wall down, and now it lets you get up to here. It's instantly blocking 700 damage for you, essentially. Instead of slowly giving you that 40 health per second, you're using it all at once. Now, if you just cancel it yourself, right, it has like a 5-second cooldown. If we put it up and we get rid of it, it's about 5 seconds, right? If they hit it at all, it goes 5, 6, 7, up to 8 seconds if they kill it entirely. All right? But anyway, you'll use it to close the gap, right? Now I can get closer, I can get on top of them, and now I can start using this while I wait for the E-wall to come back up, right? You can still use the other tactic of putting it off to the side. It kind of just depends what kind of team they have, I guess. If they have a very high damage team like Punisher with Rocket Raccoon and he's using his ammo pack, yeah, they can just shred through your walls, shred through you. It's really tough to deal with. Sometimes you're just going to need to put down your E in front of you and try and use it to block damage. But if they have a slower damage team, you know, maybe I'm facing like a Magneto tank, and even Doctor Strange doesn't matter, and they just have like, I don't know, Hela or something, and they have a Spider-Man that's flanking us, I'll stick my E-wall off to the side quite a bit too. I'm very confident. I know my survivability with this thing now. As long as it's ticking on me, I have a great idea of how long I'm going to live, and I'm pretty good at utilizing my walls either offensively to try and trap someone and hit them, or defensively to, you know, block my escape on the way out. I'm also very, very good at utilizing the natural terrain, especially the indestructible terrain. So it takes practice, but utilizing this E-wall and how you choose to use it is very, very important. If you are putting it down in front of, you know, a bunch of people and you're not really using that to do anything, you just threw it down in front of you and they just kill it, now you're naked for 8 seconds. And of course, that 8 seconds, it could have been sitting here, generating you a 320 health shield, but instead, it just got blown up in front of you and did nothing. So it's something to really think about. It kind of defines your playstyle a lot. I'll try and show some examples of that a little bit from some games. You'll see me just safely put it somewhere, and it'll sit there sometimes for 3 minutes straight while we hold a corner. So yeah, that's how I utilize my E-wall the most. Okay, and now with his left shift wall, a few things I want to point out for that. So first of all, you don't need it really close to people. You can have it pretty far back from them, like probably like this, and it'll still hit them. So a lot of people don't think about that. Look how far away it is. It's still hitting them, right? One thing to point out with this too is if you put it a little bit further behind them, for a lot of people, if they're standing here fighting, they have no idea it's even behind them. And once it starts whipping them, right? If you get too close to it, they'll be able to tell. They'll back into it. Their camera angle, whatever, they'll see it, right? But sometimes, it's a decent 3 or 4 meters behind them, and they won't even see it, and it's hitting them. So that's one thing. You can have it further back than you think. Another thing is, of course, using your ramps to actually get to places that the people, they might not expect a Groot to be there, or somebody else who doesn't have the same mobility, like your Mantis support, for example. She doesn't have any way of jumping up onto platforms. I'll try and post a couple spots or a couple places where you use them. Some maps don't really have any good spots, but some like Yggdrasil Pass has a couple good spots to kind of put a ramp for somebody to use or yourself. Sometimes you can surprise somebody where all once you pop up in their face and, surprise, here I am. So that's one way to do it is your ramps. Another thing is actually using the walls to boost yourself up. One thing to note, if I'm just moving my mouse and not clicking anything, I can move and I can move the wall too. But as soon as I click, you can hold it and you can still move, but this will stop moving, right? So this can allow you to get on top of it to make it easier for some people if they can't do it quickly. And then if you build a wall, it'll push you up. And if you actually angle your aim up like this, you can double wall yourself up. Okay? So you can use that to boost yourself up, to get over other Groot walls, to get into weird spots. You can try and do some trick shots with it if you want. You could put your E down somewhere and then, do this and boost yourself up and then alt on top of people or something like that, if you want. So yeah, basically I'm trying to say use these walls. You can have 3 of them out, so use them for something more than just I put it behind enemy and try and do damage, right? And everyone does this. That's great. You're going to do that 90% of the time. But there is opportunities for you to utilize these and make ramps and do other things with them to help your teammates as well. I should point out as well that these walls, the damage little swing that they do, it can be triggered every 0.5 seconds, so every half second, and it can be triggered by anybody. So it isn't just Groot that has to hit them. Even if Rocket Raccoon touches this guy with one bullet, it'll make the wall swing and hit him. So keep that in mind. Sometimes if you just put random walls in the back line and a Cloak and Dagger who's in dagger form does no damage, right? She's not going to sit here and kill this thing. She's just going to let it sit there, and all at once it starts whipping her because she gets hit by random stuff. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. Anything can trigger the Thornwood walls from hitting people. Okay, and then with Groot's basic attack, pretty straightforward, of course. Yeah, you just swing in a straight line. It's a hit scan attack, actually. The range on it is longer than you might think. 20-meter range. Pretty long, right? But one thing is what you can kind of practice is melee weaving, similar to Doctor Strange where he attacks and then melees. You can do the same thing with Groot, and you have no loss of damage for the first 2 attacks. So you could basically left click, right, and then melee, and then left click, and then melee. And then if you melee again, he'll do that overhand swing, which actually the animation takes like an extra second. So I usually don't do to that, but I'll go just those 2. So left click melee, and you can kind of cue it up a little bit. It's kind of hard to explain, but as soon as I click, I'm hitting melee, and then I'm already tapping click again. So the moment that the melee animation is done, he'll attack again. So you quickly can kill people like that. If you would then attack for the 3rd time instead of meleeing a 3rd time, You can kill someone very quickly. Okay, so I want to use this clip here to kind of showcase a couple of the fundamentals that I was talking about. I am on the defending side in path here. I'm playing as Groot, of course, and I've put my E-wall here. I put it here quite frequently. I would have put it here a little bit closer, but Rocket Raccoon had its respawn beacon there. But I normally put it here. So what that does with the 20-meter radius, I can basically fight anywhere here, right, on the corner that we're trying to hold, anywhere, and I'm going to get the buff, right? I'm going to constantly have this overhealth shield, which I have right now. I put it there, and I basically leave it there. If it gets low on health, which it will in a minute here, it'll be low on health. You might see me cancel it, especially if there's like a lull in the combat. I'll cancel it, and I'll replace it. But I'd leave that there. You'll see that I've put a thorn wall here because it's kind of out of the way. They're probably not going to kill it, but people constantly walk in front of it and can get hit. This is because I trapped the magic, this wall. But yeah, so I just leave the E there. It keeps triggering for me. I'm constantly hitting something pretty much on Groot. Now here I also want to showcase, just with basic attacks, pay attention to my ultimate here. You should be basic attacking, I mean, anyone without a shield as much as you can. Just farm ults off tanks. Like, I love hitting tanks and just farming quick ults. The more ults we get, the more practice we get, and of course Groot has a very powerful ultimate. It basically forces the enemy to use a support ult in order to survive, or they're all dead. But yeah, so here you'll see... just trying to trap him, trying to get extra damage. But I basically don't miss an attack. And I got my ult already. Like, look how quick that was. Here I was just a few seconds earlier at 60%, right? Or, sorry, 70%. And if you start chaining attacks together, boom, we got an ult. Okay. So the walls here, again, I had a couple thorn walls here, and they're busy fighting flankers and stuff like that. I mean, these guys are getting their ass beat, but I'm just trying to show the fundamentals. This is what I would do in any game. I never go too far away from the payload. I never go too far away from this corner. This is also some safety and protection as well. I don't want to go out of range of this. Basically, this is your home, and you just move back as you get pushed back. But you're trying to punish them for every step forward that they take. When you're on defense, you're trying to punish them. You want them to earn every step forward, especially with Groot. So I think here I fire an ult for fun. Yeah. Didn't even need to put a wall behind them. These guys, it's not really a contest right now. But yeah, just pay attention to a couple of the fundamentals. You don't have to do anything crazy. Even if you ult and only get 2 people in your ultimate, that's totally worth it. Two people that you can kill, that means you've won the whole team fight. You don't always need to get the big 4 or 5 man ults, right? And you'll notice I just canceled my E-wall here, actually. It's up. But it's taken some damage from the fight. I noticed, and I just cancel it. It had 200 health left or something. And then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to replace it. Simple. Fundamentals. They'll win you games, trust me. Now, this example I want to show you is using your shift wall to build a ramp. I noticed that the enemies kept utilizing this upper space a lot. We have a Punisher who I don't want him to have to use one of his skills to get up here. And it just gives me a vantage point as well. So I built a ramp here, and now anyone on the team can use it. And as you'll see, they do. They start using it. It gives them different angles. The enemies might not expect it. There's another pick on a bad Punisher. But like, this is one of the best little ramp spots. It's well protected. They can't see it until they get around the corner, but it gives access to your team, a very easy way for them to come up here and not have to use any kind of mobility skill, and they can get up top and get behind or above the enemies. So definitely recommend putting it there, and I use it a lot myself. So especially if you have your ult, it's kind of cheeky. You can just hop up here really quick. You know, the enemies just saw you here, let's say, right? They see you on the payload, and then it's 1, 2, 3, all once you're up the ramp, and you're hopping over this wall, and you're throwing your ult right here and ulting everyone onto the, killing the whole team. So Powerful spot, easy to use. There's a couple in this map that I can quickly show and summarize here. Here's me later on in the map, right near the end, where this is another good spot. Just put a ramp, and your teammates can come up here and contest in this small room. This is a strong spot to contest them from. You can hop down, and you're quite safe. I actually will show you right here how simple and powerful it can be. Hop on up. Punisher doesn't expect it. Put a wall behind him. Auto attack him twice and hit him with a right click. He's dead. Cut him off from his heals. Everything. That easy. Okay, and last thing to kind of touch on is obviously kind of utilizing his ultimate. It's a very powerful ultimate. You don't want it to be blocked, of course. You don't want it to be cloaked. But I just want to show a pretty basic, obvious example of using it. I'm literally about to unleash it. And what I see here is obviously pretty tasty. We've got two squishies. We've got a cloak and dagger who is most likely not going to shroud it and dodge my ult because they're not looking at me. And I pick up on that. I know there's no shield. There's no Magneto. There's no Luna. I know that this is going to be a pretty successful ult, and it's actually super late in the game. It's round 3. We're winning. We need to cap this. And, I mean, this is the dream scenario, right? Unleash it. As soon as you unleash it, I put a wall behind them, which will whip them. The tentacles came out and whipped them as soon as I hit them. And, yeah, they just get obliterated, all 3 of them. But the point is that he has good ults and he has bad ults. And it's really takes time to start to read the situation. You know, if they have a Doctor Strange on their team, for example, you got to listen for when you break his shield, and then you know you have a few seconds where, hey, I can ult freely. I can even get the Doctor Strange in it now. Like, you start to catch on to these things slowly in time. Oh, the Luna ult, she used it 10 seconds ago. It has a 12-second duration. I'm going to let it expire. And then ult right at the end of it, right? I know it's ending in 3, 2, 1, and that's all you need to do. You just start to, like, it's too hard to really teach you how to do it. It's more of just an experience thing, and the more comfortable you get playing a tank and being a frontliner and realizing, you know, how these things go and what's, you know, what's been used and what hasn't been used and who's doing what, then it just comes naturally. So, I mean, I could show you a whole bunch of different group clips where I, you know, ult 3, 4, 5 people and kill them. But, I mean, there's also times when I ult and kill nobody, or I ult at the wrong time and didn't realize that Invisible Woman was cracking her ult at the same time or something, and I just waste it. This happens to everybody. Top 500 players or bronze, right? It doesn't matter. So you just kind of get the feel for it. Sometimes you got to just, even if there was 2 guys here, not 3, I should have, at this critical stage in the game, you just go for that ult and you try and secure a kill or 2, and it's worth it at that point. My number 1 piece of advice would be, don't just sit on it and wait for that big 4-man, 5-man, 6-man ult. It's a dumb way to do it. It's not fundamentally strong, and it's cocky, and you always want to just get some good value out of it. So hopefully that helps a little bit. If you have any other questions about ultimates or any of that stuff, always let me know in the comments or stop by the stream. I do stream daily on twitch.tv/Silva66. I don't mind if you stop by, want me to do a VOD review, check out, you know, some of your gameplay, try and give you some tips. I love doing that kind of thing. Come on by. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is another long video, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next guide video. Take care.